What is up, you guys? We are back filming another video for you. I would say this one was highly requested just because, like I mentioned in our last Q&A, there was a lot of questions asked about this topic. We're just going to be sharing a little bit about our process of relocating to Texas from California, and also how we were able to buy a house and the process of buying a house, or at least the process that we went through specifically. So if you guys like the video, like, subscribe, share, comment, and if you guys learned a lot, I want some feedback on what you guys learned or what you guys thought. If you guys ever thought about relocating, let us know, because we're curious. But I guess we can get started.
Do you have 2 questions?
I think it was, I know them.
Oh, you do?
I got them, yeah.
Oh. You
I
memorized
think it
them?
was, yeah.
What?
I think it was summer of 2019.
No, we moved here in October.
I know.
Why do you say summer then?
Summer of 2019 is when we found out that
Oh, yeah.
my cousin was no longer going to be living with us. The four of us, my cousin and his girlfriend, were living in an apartment in Sacramento, California, that we had been in probably for about a year. So it was around the summertime where they had decided that they no longer wanted to live there, and they wanted to move back home to save on the rent. So we had to quickly find a solution to our living situation, because if we had stayed in that apartment, the rent was going to be about the same amount that we're paying as a mortgage now, which at the time was expensive, being the fact that it was not going to be a property that we owned, and it was an apartment. And also, while we were looking, we couldn't find any one bedrooms even for
Yeah.
a reasonable price. Not only a reasonable price, but I would say the area that we wanted to live in, or the area that we were comfortable with, we could not live in that area for the price range that we were looking at. So,
And also, too, like, I feel like the areas that would be cheap or, like, in our budget, they weren't in good areas. And then, the nice ones, it would just be, like, outrageous, like, $1,400 for a 1-bedroom. And
Yeah.
it's just like, why, if I could just get a mortgage?
yeah, right.
So then, like, our lease was, like, ending, like, 30 days, yeah. And we were like, okay, like, what should we do? Like, and then, like, okay, apartment, like, obviously it's not ideal. So then we were like, okay, how about we just buy a house in Sac?
Yeah, so as we were looking for houses, that we were running into the same issue with that.
Yeah.
For the price range and the monthly payment that we were looking at, we just couldn't find a property that was in an area that we were comfortable with.
Yeah.
So then that's when that had been taken off of our option board, and we had the idea to relocate. We were like, hey, we don't have any children. We don't have anything holding us back. We could take this little bit of savings that we have and relocate. Our thought on relocating was the worst thing that could happen is us not like it,
And we could just go back.
we could just go back.
Yeah.
So we decided to relocate
To Texas.
to Texas.
Dallas.
In specific, which we chose because I have already had a little bit of family out here. I knew that this area at least was diverse, and it was just going to be a total new experience, and Dallas seemed like a pretty cool city. So it was either Dallas, Nevada, or Arizona.
And then
But like I said, I had family here, so Dallas was like number one for me. So
and also, like, he showed me, like, houses here, like, what we can get here than in California. So I was like, that's what kind of sold me, too. Because I'm like, why would I not choose something cheaper for more what I can get than Sac in a nice area? So I was like, for me, it was between Dallas and Nevada. Because I know Nevada because I always go up there, like, in the wintertime. So I was just like, it was familiar to me. But then we just chose Dallas because I think I like the housing better.
yeah, and
Yeah, so it was like September. It's like, okay, we're gonna move to Dallas. So then we currently work.
we were already working, and our first thing, the biggest thing, and this is going to be my number one priority with my explanation on when you want to relocate and what are the things to do: secure employment and make sure that stuff is done. do not go anywhere without securing employment beforehand, which we were able to do because our job just made it easy for us to be able to transfer. As long as there was a position available, the transfer was necessary and possible. So we had the opportunity to transfer, which was great. And after we found that, we instantly started looking for a place to stay. And then our plan with relocating was to get settled in,
For a year.
probably have an apartment for a year, and then save up a little bit more to be able to purchase a home.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but in the meantime, remember when we knew we were locating, I worked at Ross, right? I did because I wanted
Yeah.
to save. Yeah, so I like after my job, after I get out of work, I would go. I worked at Ross just to save up money like for moving, and then also too because we got a discount from like all our home stuff.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, so I like decided like let me just get like a little like part-time job temporarily so I could save up like when we move. So that helped too, like just getting a little bit extra, like a couple like extra 300 every 2 weeks like helped, and I just put that in my savings, so it built up fast.
Between saving and for the second job, we just continuously looked for places and made sure that we were saving in the process. Stella, come here.
Yeah, and like also too was an advantage too since we transferred. I would suggest like asking your like job for a raise because that's what well at least he did, and it worked. So, which was better because initially we're getting paid more out here than what Texas people are getting paid. So we're making more than them.
It wasn't even really a raise. I just took a higher position with higher pay, just because the opportunity was
But
there.
still, you can still
So,
ask.
but yeah, like I said, you can still ask for a raise,
'Cause, yeah.
and that's just one of the things that you want to do before moving.
Yeah, so then we ended up, like you said, like we ended up just after we found out like where our location was, like our work or job, like where we're gonna be, we just like looked in that area, like the same zip code.
Yeah,
and
we were able to find an
Like 5
apartment pretty
minutes.
easy.
We literally lived 5 minutes
Um,
from our job,
Yeah, we lived pretty close. We're able to get the apartment pretty
and it was
easy.
really nice.
The process was kind of the only thing that was like nerve wracking was like not being able to see the place in person.
Yeah.
But the person did their best to send videos and pictures, so we kind of just went with it and trusted the person. And it actually did turn out that we had a really nice apartment.
nice.
It was upgraded. We were paying less.
Yeah,
We were paying the same amount that I had for my very first apartment, pretty much. My mom was the hookup, so she was able to get me one for cheap when I had first moved out. So we were paying like
nine something.
it was 9 something with utilities and all the trash and bills that come along. But I think the apartment rent itself was like
905.
I don't think it was that much either. I think it was like 8 something.
Oh yeah, but with all you're saying with everything.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it was completely upgraded,
Yeah,
wood
washer,
floors,
dryer.
granite cabinets, washer and dryer inside the unit. It was awesome. So
Yeah, so I feel like that's like a steal, and it was in a really good neighborhood.
we were able to find that, and that
it was
was
like
really good.
it was in downtown Dallas, so it was in a really good neighborhood, and it was quiet.
Yeah, quiet spot. So the time comes for us to move, and what we chose to do was we really just got rid of and sold all of the furniture that we had and started fresh, which was why she was working that second job and we were just trying our hardest to save because we knew we were going to start fresh with everything. Only thing we did was pack the cars up. We took our dogs and our clothes. We packed both of our cars up, and my cousins had came back down the side to help us move, and we took that drive. Now the drive wasn't terrible, but it was terrible because at the end everybody was really tired, especially Natalie. So I was trying to get some rest. I was like, Natalie, if you could just drive these last couple hours and get us there, it was fine. But she was falling asleep.
Yeah,
It was dangerous, so I kind of just sucked it up and got back in the driver's seat and continued driving. But it took us about a day and a couple hours. I think 26 hours total. We drove nonstop, being that it was 4 of us. So we just kept switching, rotating drivers between the 2 cars. So we get here, get the apartment, get the keys. Everything turns out fine.
Oh, and driving with the dogs wasn't that bad because I just gave them Benadryl so they could because my dogs are really like one of them is like he's really hyper, and like he doesn't do well in the car, so I was getting Benadryl. But it worked. I mean, they were calm the whole time. Like
I don't really think the Benadryl worked. For the most part, they stayed calm.
Yeah,
in the
they
car.
were sleeping the whole time. So
they used to get like real skittish and freaked out in the car, but they usually just sit there and pan, just chill out. So.
And then another time we stopped to get gas, we just let them out. But overall, like driving with the dogs wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, we just had our clothes, and then we just had our kitchen stuff, and that was it.
Yeah. So so we relocated, and we got to our apartment, and we were chilling. We had a week off before we went back to work. We took a vacation week to get settled in and get all of our plans. So we slowly began to get new pieces of furniture, and we had our apartment furnished within the first like 2 months, which was nice. So we stayed in that apartment, and fast forward to
the first month we just got an air mattress, the air mattress.
Oh yeah, we were sleeping on an air mattress just because it was comfortable.
It was comfortable, honestly.
But then we had found like a cheap person that was selling bed frames with a mattress.
Like that's like a Texas thing or something. Like they don't they have Ashley Furniture, but like they have like warehouses.
Yeah, it was like a warehouse where the person would come and deliver the bed frame and mattresses to you for free delivery. But
we thought it was sketchy, but that's what they do out here. And like for example, like we got a king bed with the headboard, the box spring, and like a plush mattress for like $500.
The first one was less than that.
It was only
the one we have now was about $500.
Yeah, the first one was $350. Which is really good.
But yeah, I mean, that was a plus. We were able to get that.
And then we just slowly got our furniture in.
Yeah.
And then we moved there on October, and then...
And yeah, fast forward, everything's going good. We're chilling. This was actually like a month or two before COVID hit. I guess Natalie just wasn't really feeling it.
Yeah, I feel like for me... Like, it's because it's a completely different state, and then, like, all we knew was each other, and then I just felt like I was doing the same thing what I was doing out in California and Texas, so I didn't feel like it was really worth it, and then, so I would literally cry, like, literally every day, like, I want to go back home. Like, it even got to the point where he was looking, like, at apartments for us to go back, and then we were even talking to, like, our managers to see if we go back to, like, our same location. But I don't know, I feel like for me, I just feel like I was like just uncomfortable because it was just like, dang, like we're just by ourselves. But then like I felt like after that, what kind of changed, it's because I felt like I had no purpose here in Dallas. But then DJ made like a good statement, like when I was like sad and all, he's like, well, you have to make a change. Like since you say that you're doing the same thing what you're doing in California, you need to make a change and do something different, which is right. Which is true. So, what would you say how you felt? Like,
I didn't feel like that at all. I was chilling.
Like,
I mean,
he liked it, but I was having a hard time with it.
It was something new, and I just liked the environment because I guess being out here really doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. It feels like
because of the traffic and the flow of traffic, the people. It really feels like home to me. It's real city like where I'm at.
Yeah, it feels like Sac still. Like,
so it wasn't a big difference for me.
The only difference is
so I didn't feel like that whatsoever, and I still don't feel like that now.
The only difference
I didn't even really get homesick. I haven't even really gotten homesick yet. So I was chilling. I didn't feel like that at all. I was excited. I was happy.
The only difference is that the people are nicer though. They're more friendlier, but the driving sucks here. Yeah. That's the only difference. And then also people need to stop saying that the weather sucks here because it's not that bad. Like
the weather's terrible. We'll get into that later though.
No,
we'll get into that later.
Oh my
We'll talk about that later.
Whatever.
Well, I guess we could talk about that now. So
like the weather,
when it comes to relocating, let's talk a little bit about relocating.
Okay, people like in California, like us, we thought like, oh my god, bugs, snakes, weather. Since we lived here, we haven't seen one snake.
Yeah, don't listen to what you see on TV or what other people say. We haven't seen one snake.
The bugs are the same here.
Yeah.
Like, there's not that many bugs.
That's not true because I know there are some places in Texas that have stuff like that.
That's like that.
We've been grateful enough not to see that, so I'm not gonna say don't say that's out here. it's for sure out here. It's just not around here.
It's like, but
so we got lucky. So
you'll only see it if you go to the boonies, but there's no reason to go to the boonies.
I can't attest to that because I ain't been nowhere outside of where I'm at.
Exactly. So why wouldn't you go out there? So like, just stay in Dallas.
Maybe
you're
that's what
fine.
some people are looking for, though.
Boonies.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I
a lot of
guess.
land out here. People want land. But anyway,
So it's not that bad.
it's not around us. At
Yeah.
least our area is fine. So not all of Texas is that way. So don't think of it that way.
It's not like
I say just don't listen to people and just do your own research. But I had
Yeah.
a couple questions asked, and it was, what are some things you would suggest, or comparing the differences between moving out of state and being back home? Like I said, there really is no big difference. The only difference is, I guess, is having friends around.
Yeah, that's kind of hard.
But
Like,
I just really don't see a difference because we've had people out here. Like I said, my cousins were out here, and then my sisters followed me out here. My sisters are out here now, so we've always had help or companionship if we needed it. So there really has been no difference for us. I guess I would say it's really just a matter of doing it. And I just wanted to tell you guys like a couple tips when relocating. That biggest one, securing your employment is huge.
Yeah.
Securing your employment is huge. Please do that step before you consider relocating anywhere, not just Texas, because that's going to be a big deal breaker.
Yeah.
Pay scales, pay grades are not the same in all states, so you have to be aware of that. And I would say,
$7.
I would also even say establish a career or some type of plan when coming here, because working a regular retail job is not going to be the same as, say, for example, California. I know some retail stores are even getting up to $15 an hour, and you just don't get that everywhere out here.
Yeah. Here it's $7. So
I don't know if people are getting paid $7, but that I believe is the state's minimum wage. So I don't really know what people are getting. I know for a fact they're not getting paid how we were in California. So please do that, and you want to make sure you have some type of plan or a career established before relocating, or savings. Even having savings, that's big.
yeah.
One of the things that we did to prepare ourselves as well was make sure that it financially made sense. Like I said, we had a little bit of savings that we could spend, and at the time it did make sense because we didn't have to consider a child. We were able to sell everything we had, and we're able to rebuy everything that we needed or everything that was a necessity. So establish some type of financial plan, get your finances in order, do your budgeting, and you can make the move from there.
And then you have to keep in mind that like it's extremely cheap here. Like when we moved here, the gas was only $1.60. So then like you said, prepare like your finances, but then you can also expect it to be a little bit cheaper, like because like the living expenses is totally cheap. Like food, gas is cheaper out here.
I mean, and comparing your and doing that, I researched all that, so I knew that the cost of living over time was significantly different. I'm not gonna say you're gonna get here and you're gonna be saving a ton of money right off the bat, but when I talk about cost of living, I'm talking about housing, travel expenses, day-to-day things like gas, taxes. There is no state tax here, so that was a plus. So there is no state tax, so you don't have to pay that.
A little bit.
It also helps us save a little bit now.
Yeah.
Also with having a business and everything. But another thing, this is where I'm going to talk about the weather, is be prepared for crazy weather. Now the heat is
It's
different.
not
The
bad.
heat, to us, it wasn't that bad. Yes, the humidity sucks.
But
The humidity's terrible. You end up probably feeling like you got to take 2 to 3 showers a
But
day.
people make
but
it sound like you're
it-
just so like you're gonna
Yeah,
die.
it's not like-
you're gonna die.
It'll feel like that, but once you adjust, you're kind of just like, it's really not that
Yeah,
bad.
like,
you get used to it. You know how to dress, and just stay yourself in the house if you really have a problem with it.
Because California heat is dry, and here it's moist. So I'd rather be.
It's moist, but the humidity
And
does.
there's no
The
hot
humidity
wind,
kind of
like
can take a toll on you. I like humidity, like especially like after rain, and it's real humid outside, and you can smell the rain. That's like my favorite type of weather. So the humidity isn't bad.
It's not
It does
bad.
get to a point where you do feel kind of sticky and icky.
But
you
then-
even said that a couple days ago. So
Well, yeah,
you
but
know
then,
about
but like
that.
you said,
But
like there's no reason for you to go outside.
when I say crazy weather, our first month of being here, we experienced a tornado. So we know that those are
We
here.
were affected. we had no power for like 2 days.
Yeah.
that sucked.
We experienced a tornado,
Yeah.
and then right after that tornado, it was bright and sunny. It looked like nothing ever happened except all the damage that was around town. We've also experienced a snowstorm. That snowstorm that Texas had probably about several weeks ago. Luckily, we didn't have any negative effect on that.
Yeah.
We just couldn't drive anywhere, so it kind of sucked. But we experienced a snowstorm, and then 3 days after the snowstorm, the snow's melted, and it's back to warm spring weather. So when I say get ready for crazy weather, that is what I'm talking about. I'm not necessarily talking about crazy hot weather, because the hot is manageable. Like I said, you can stay inside, you can go chill by a pool, you can wear shirt clothes to be able to maintain and withstand that heat. So the heat is not as bad. But when I say crazy weather, it's these rainstorms, these tornadoes, and even the tornadoes aren't. That was the only one we seen.
Yeah.
It was just it's a natural disaster.
And also too, what you can prepare, SAC is much harder, because last year in summer in SAC it got to like 110, and the hottest it got here was like 104.
No, I got to 109.
No, it did not.
It did. Yes,
no, it didn't.
Natalie, we've been in the house for a whole year, literally. So you probably don't remember, but it has gotten pretty hot.
But then again, it's not that dry like hot. It's a moist hot. So I'm just saying it gets. That's
what I'm saying.
I feel like it's hotter in SAC than in here.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true.
I guess it's your preference. For me, I feel like it's not that bad. But also too, the only time you're outside is when you're getting in your car, going out of your car to go home, or going to the store. So you're not really outside unless you're like at a I don't know, like you're not really outside unless you're like at a theme park.
And that's the thing too, though. Like with weather, everywhere has something. I mean, California has wildfires.
Yeah, exactly. California has wildfires.
Colorado has snow.
So it's like everybody has their own.
The South has tornadoes. Florida hurricanes. It's kind of you're gonna have some type of disaster or some type of uncomfortableness. So you just have to pick your uncomfortableness.
And it's not that bad.
And then just be with it. It's really not that bad.
Because I'd rather experience. Well, I'd rather have like weird weather than wildfires, because that smoke lasts a week in the air.
Yeah,
that's
the
terrible.
smoke's pretty bad. So that's why I say you just gotta choose.
I'd rather just do
what you want to be around. But like I said, we haven't seen another tornado since. So it is what it is. But yeah, so Natalie wasn't feeling it when we were here. So I kind of told her you got to make a change, whether it be in work or whether we can look at the possibility of getting a house now versus waiting with what we have.
Yeah, because we're going to wait until our lease ended, the apartment.
So we just kind of looked, and we weren't even really trying to really buy. Yeah, so we have really just started looking to see what the possibility was and what we could afford and what we could get. That would be a comfortable monthly payment for us. And so we were looking at these houses, and we actually found a new build community that was coming about and being developed, and we just went down there to see what they were talking about, look at the houses just to get a feel of what we would like and what we would want in a house.
And also keep in mind, like, he had to keep telling me this too, like, this house wasn't going to be our forever home. So, like, every time he showed me a house, I'm like, I don't like that, I don't like this, but he had to keep telling me, like, we're not going to be here forever. So, like, if you're planning to buy, like, at your forever home, like, I guess, but, like, if you're just, like, for us, like, this home, we don't know if it's going to be an investment home or just a home we're going to get rid of after. But I would say just don't be as nitpicky if it's not going to be a forever home.
Right. And then, so, yeah, we found a new build community. We went down to the office, see what they were talking about, get a tour for the home to see what we would look for in a home and what we would like.
Yeah.
So the guy shows us around, and he asked us, what's stopping you guys from buying? And it was really just not knowing if we had enough of a down payment and what we could afford. So he was kind of just encouraging us to run the numbers and I'm going to tell you guys, go see what you're qualified for, because some of you may be qualified now and may not even know it.
That's how we felt too.
So we just jumped in and got qualified to see what we could get qualified for and see if it was something that we could afford.
Yeah.
Which we found out that it was.
And we were qualified for
And out of all the houses that we've seen, we felt like the new build would be the best, just because we didn't have to do any repairs or worry about any repairs being done.
And then also too, it came with all the appliances, so the oven, refrigerator, microwave, and even the washer and dryer. So that really saved us a lot of money too. Because I was thinking, like, dang, like, we're gonna have to get like a credit card at Lowe's or something, So That was what sold us.
That was another plus on this
Yeah.
home in specifics. But yes, so we also found out that there are programs available, and I'm going to tell you guys this as well. There are down payment assistance programs available and first-time home buyer programs that you guys may qualify for as well. Their qualifications really are not that hard. It's really based off credit score. That's actually going to be a lot of the driving factors are going to be your credit score. But even with a low credit score, there are programs out there to accommodate that. You guys, they want you guys to be homeowners.
Yeah.
So go out there and see what you guys are qualified for, because you wouldn't know. Luckily for us, we were qualified for a first-time home buyer program and also a down payment assistance program that we did take advantage of. We didn't necessarily need it, but it was there, so why not take advantage of it and have the cash in our pocket to be able to decorate our home? So that's one of the things we did. Like I said, like she said, the appliances came as a bonus with the first-time home buyer program, or it was actually a builder program that was included with the builders. So that was another plus.
And then the guy also said that he would buy us out of our lease for our apartment.
Yeah, well, we needed to find a realtor to be able to buy us out, and that was another reason why we were just like, okay, we're gonna just jump in and buy the house, and we're gonna do this thing. So we found it. The guy suggested that he had a realtor that would buy us out of our lease, but I wanted to find a realtor. So shout out Charles Velasco for suggesting Susan Brock. If you guys are in the Dallas, Houston area, hit her up. Brock and Foster Real Estate. She was really helpful, even though it wasn't a face-to-face interaction, because she, her hometown or where she works is Houston. She did not make a trip out here to help us, just because we kind of have already found what we needed to.
So she's more just on the phone.
She was kind of just
on the phone with them.
there as a support, and
Yeah.
we just
Making
put her
sure-
down as our realtor.
Make sure we got all the a good deal too. That's another reason why we got her too.
We wanted to get a realtor to make sure we were getting a good deal and got all of the things that we needed in order, and the support between the lenders and the builders and all that stuff.
And then she
So she did offer to buy us out of our lease. She said that was no problem. So
that was
it was a plus.
Yeah.
We were able to get out of our lease and get into the home
So, like,
probably
why not?
within a month. Now the home buying process is the
It's-
regular going through the credit process and then going through with the lender. You guys, when you're going through the home buying process, yes, it is big to not make any changes to your credit. Don't get too excited and start buying your furniture on credit and appliances, electronics, all this stuff that's going to affect your credit score, because that will differentiate your availability, what you're eligible for, and it can potentially hurt you when you're in the buying process. So we went through the credit process. We had to wait a couple weeks for underwriting. And
let me tell you, it was so easy. It was easier buying a car. It was literally like all we had to do was just normal like pay stubs, like stuff like that, and that was it.
we had to send it a couple times, but like I said, it was easy.
It's
now.
easier than buying a car.
Process might not be easy for it. It's gonna be situational, definitely, but the process for the most part was easy. And in our situation, it was fast because it was a new build. There were no repairs that needed to be done.
And how many?
The
did we
appraisal
close
was simple.
within 30 days or less than 30 days?
I think it was 45 because they kept
Oh,
changing
yeah.
the date for some reason.
I forgot why.
Totally forgot why, but I would say 45 days at most it took us to close. No, it was actually less than that. Probably about 32
Yeah.
days it took us to close. That was exciting. So we closed on the home, and now we're here with our family. It was kind of like
So we moved-
while we were moving, Natalie was like in a bad mood. I'm sitting here trying to enjoy the house. I'm like walking around, making videos, taking pictures, calling people, telling them about the house, and then she's just freaking out, spazzing out on me to hurry up and get the U-Haul unloaded. And I pretty much unloaded the whole U-Haul by myself.
Did you?
And she still was being kind of pushy and bossy.
But we
and
did-
she blames it on her being pregnant. So
Yeah.
that's when we found out she was pregnant probably about
Cause
what,
we
like
moved in
2
here-
weeks after being
Yeah,
here.
so we moved here on May 16th. No, May something, and then I found I was pregnant May 25th. So 2 weeks before that. So, but we officially bought the house on April 28th. Yeah, so it's exactly like almost a month.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
so we bought the house on April 28th, and then we moved in May something, and then found out I was pregnant May 25th.
Yeah.
So during that April when we bought it, I was probably already pregnant.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, what made it possible for us to do such at such young age was, for one, just jumping and saying, if this is what you want to do, you're going to go do it. So first, Go out there, get qualified, and take advantage of those programs, you guys. That's what made it possible for us. That's what you guys can do. It's not hard. Save up your money so you can have the things, because there are some things you don't think of when buying a house, like the appliances and furnishing it. So make sure you have your money
And
saved up for that.
Also, too, like it's different because we're also concerned because living in an apartment, if something breaks, like say the water heater, they'll come fix it. But then if you live in a home, you have to pay that out of pocket. So that's why we're kind of like.
And that was another benefit of going with a new built home. The builder was
Exactly.
very generous with the warranty and the limited warranty, where they'll come out and do any repairs if anything was needed in the first couple years. And also, I'm not too worried about that because YouTube has been a friend. Like, I was able to add in a couple things to the house, like faucets, light fixtures, chandeliers, to kind of make it homey. We kind of just wanted to do a little bit of customizing. So for the most part, YouTube is my friend. My dad knows how to do a lot of that stuff though, so I'm not super worried about it. I can do the repairs. It's just water heaters and stuff, and that stuff breaks. It's costly. So that's another thing you got to consider. In an apartment, things break, maintenance comes and fixes it. Having a house, things break, you got to fix it. So
That was another like.
my biggest thing is just making sure we keep up with the house as best
And also
as possible.
just keep saving,
and
too.
Keep saving.
Yeah.
Please have an emergency savings. That's
Yeah.
another big thing with having a home, and anybody should really have about 3 months worth of living expenses at minimum, just so you can be prepared for anything like those home breaking, those appliances and things breaking, or COVID. COVID was extremely hard for some people. Luckily, we got a lot of positivity and good things out of it. We got our house, we got engaged, we had our child. So COVID was a blessing more than it was a curse for us.
Yeah.
So we can only be thankful for that, and thankful that we didn't have to have any negative impacts. But yes, have that emergency savings. Go out there, see what you could qualify for. If you have a spouse, put your money together and do it. If you don't have a spouse and you don't qualify for what you want or need to get a little bit more, don't get discouraged. Just get out there, work, and save, and you will be able to do what we have too.
Yeah.
So we've been almost in the house for a year,
In
so
May.
that's been exciting. I'm really excited to continue making it homey and continue decorating. And since we've been here in Texas, I feel like I'm happy. I'm happy with the transition.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, so like after like we found out we're buying a house, I feel like that turned my mood around a lot. It's I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm actually doing something now. So I feel like after buying the house, it made me really happy, like to be in Dallas, and then I kind of got more comfortable. So I feel like now, like I'm happy. Like I wouldn't move back to California necessarily, just because it's so much like space. Even in Dallas or Texas, it's so spacious. It's not like Sacramento or California. Everything is so close. Like everywhere is huge, and which I like. Everything's spread out, and then I don't know. And like you said, it does feel like home here. So
Yeah.
I like it overall.
And you
now.
guys, like this house, even my realtor friends, my friends who are in real estate, have told me this house would probably cost high 300s, almost 400,000. So that's almost double and a half, almost 3 times what we paid for the home. So that was another thing. When I say cost of living, that housing market and housing prices really does make a big difference.
Yeah.
I know Sacramento out there is blowing up. Housing is getting crazy. I know it's really more. There's more demand than there is supply, so houses are being bought up. As for what I'm looking at, and the same thing is actually starting to happen here. Those big tech companies have found out that with saving on the state taxes and the tax savings that they could get with moving to a place like Texas, they're starting to do it. So if you guys are thinking about relocating, I would do a lot of research on the area. Think about what's coming to the area. Look at the housing, because I know here in Texas the housing is not always going to be this cheap. Inflation is going to go up. Everything with the government and these stimulus packages, that's gonna drive everything up. So I would say don't hesitate and don't wait too long. If your dream is to become a homeowner, it is very doable, and now is a perfect time to do so. If you have a family or if you and your partner have been thinking about it, I just want to encourage everybody to do that.
Yeah, at least just see what you're qualified for, because like we say, you never know. Like you probably are already qualified.
Yeah, and then someone had asked me what's the difference between Cali and Texas. I think some of my biggest differences are
The roads.
the roads are terrible.
Freeways.
But positive differences are I feel like the nightlife is way better.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's diverse. They play a lot of South music, and Dallas is real cultural down here. So they have their own culture or their own swag. So all of that is being able to see.
And that's what I was
There's a
worried.
lot of attraction. Dallas has some really cool things to do out here. And the selection of food is good and bad. I have not been able to find Mexican food like back home. Even Chinese food, I have not been able to find that back home. But the barbecue's great.
Mm-hmm.
They have fast food that is at home, and they have fast food that's out this way. Cane's, Whataburger, all those good places to try out. That's another plus. They have a
And
lot
that's
of food.
another
The
thing.
malls are awesome.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like everybody thinks that Texas is racist. It's not. Like
Yeah, it's not like that.
It's really diverse.
I
Like,
have not
there's
had an
every
encounter
single
yet.
race
I'll
here.
say yet because you can have that encounter anywhere at any
Yeah,
time.
but it's not like what
it's
people
really
make it think of.
diverse.
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
That's why I say don't let people talk you out of moving to Texas, Arizona, the South, anywhere. Don't let people influence you. Talk to somebody that's done it before. Hopefully, we were able to shed a little bit of light on Texas if you're looking at Texas or Dallas in specific, and kind of help you guys out with that. But yeah, don't listen to people because it is not like that at all. At least the areas that we've been in and what we have encountered has not been that way. Overall, my relocation experience has been great. I have loved every bit of it, and I love every bit of Texas that I am enjoying now. I do wish I had my parents close now that we have our son. Of course, you want your parents to be around, not only to help, but I just feel like he needs his grandparents. So I do miss them now. I'm kind of getting homesick about that and wanting them here with us. But I don't think it'll be too long before they all follow me out here. So two of my sisters have already done it. So it's just them and then my other sister that are still back home. So my parents, I don't think it's too long before my parents try to make their way out here. But overall, the experience has been great. I love living here. I love what we've been able to accomplish, and I'm glad that I was able to do it with her. And we were able to start our family. So now we have our family. We're in our home. He has his own room. We have our own room. There's a spare room. We can have holidays. We can cook. We got a great backyard. So it's overall just been enjoyable for me. How about you?
Yeah, I say the same thing. Like exactly the same thing. Like I said, like that's what's nice about Texas because it's so cheap. Like this home is not gonna be our forever home. So we're planning just to live here for like until he's 5, and then get our dream home, hopefully. Or we might just get like another.
We're giving ourselves at least 5 years to kind of hustle and get things in order to be able to buy a second home. Hopefully keep this one as an investment home or whatever we decide to do with this one. But that's pretty much our relocation experience. Coming from Cali to Texas, the differences between Cali and Texas, a little tips for you guys who want to get into purchasing a home. We encourage you guys to do that. And that's pretty much going to sum up the video. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. But if you guys enjoyed, please like, subscribe, comment, share.
And if you guys have any other questions, just leave them in the little comment section.
Yeah, or even hit us up on Instagram. Our social media accounts are going to be linked in the description box. And we just want to thank you guys for watching. So, we're out.